Good day, and welcome to the Mass Music Morning Show. I am your man, Jimmy Askins, here with my good friends. Introduce yourself, good man.
My name is Shlomo Bo, a.k.a. Shlomito, and we're back live in the Mass Music Radio headquarters. Having a good day so far. We got, across the table, we have Mr. Dr. J. And then we got the one, the only DJ, Famous Seamus.
And for those who just watched the last episode, he introduced me last because he's still upset. I whooped his ass in Best Tune, everyone.
It was very questionable.
That
Please go back, judge for yourself.
No, if you go ahead,
I've had a
judge
few
for
days
yourselves.
to think about it. Man, I got snubbed.
You got
once
your
again,
ass
bud.
whooped, buddy, and that was
Haven't
awesome.
slept since.
I haven't.
But what do we got going on today? You know what I
Well,
mean?
the main topic after the commercial break, we're going to be talking about bad neighbors and stories about bad neighbors.
Ooh.
But before that, we have in season 2, we have a pre-topic and then a post-topic. The pre-topic today, we're doing rando topic.
Random.
Yes, so
smorgasbord.
I have a list of 10 random things to talk about. And you know what, Seamus? Since you won Best Tune, you can pick the number 1 through 10, and whatever it lands on, we will be discussing here today on the Mass Music Morning Show.
Ooh, it's
So
like
Seamus-
roulette, dude. It's like we should get a gun.
Right?
I wish we had some kind of cool...
Exactly. I'll pretend like it's this because my lucky number is 4.
There we go.
The worst place you've ever been stuck.
The worst place I've ever been stuck. The University of Massachusetts Amherst. No, I'm kidding. I love my time at UMass. If I'm thinking about the worst place I've ever been stuck, probably in the city of Philadelphia. I didn't actually get to step foot in Philly, I'm not. If you're from Philly, don't
you can't
attack
slander
Meek
Philly
Mill.
like
I would like to meet you someday. I'm not slandering the city. I was stuck in the airport. I remember we had a connecting flight, and it was one of those. We come back from Puerto Rico. I was trying to get back to school. Had a fucking, final exams or midterms, whatever it was. Trying to get back, and the flights were set up so that, like, when I landed in Philly, I had to dip to the other part of the airport and get on this flight back to Boston. That was not happening. The flight was delayed. I'm stuck in Philly for like 5 hours. Horrible. It was like
In the airport.
in the airport. It's not like I could leave and go do
airport's
some
not
fun
a-
shit. It's not the best airport. I mean, at any airport, I wouldn't want to be stuck in for 5 hours. So that was probably the worst place I've been stuck because it was bullshit.
An airport is definitely one of the last places I want to get stuck.
Yeah.
But at least it's indoors. I will.
Yeah,
say.
that is true. We got an
Indoors
outdoor
is not
place?
bad. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I was on sort of, you could call it a double date. We went up to this overlook
Ooh.
area. I know.
Cute.
Me on a date, right? This is in high school.
Not
And I'm
before
with my
marriage.
buddy Joe Dougie and these two female. I'm gonna leave the females out of things. But we're with Joe Dougie and we're chilling. We're doing our thing. And mind you, it's winter time. It's probably like November-ish. So it's a little nippy, right? This watching the sunset, all right? Sunsets, then it's nighttime. We're up there. We're still chilling. It's probably like 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock at night. It's getting cold. And the friend of the girl I was with went to go grab something from the car, and when she came back, she accidentally locked the keys in the car.
Wow.
Yeah, and she didn't have a little key thing on the door. So we get locked out. All of our phones, like everything is in the car. And it's cold, and we're chilling, and we're like, nice. Like, we are stuck up in the middle of nowhere. So, mind you, my wallet with everything was in the car. So I had my AAA card, whatever. So, long story short, we end up waiting. Some car passing by, we kind of like flag them down. Like, yo, explain the situation. And they let me borrow their phone. And I didn't know what to do. I called my mom. I was like, yo, this is the sitch.
When in doubt, call your
Dude,
mom.
Yep.
within
Always.
like 15 minutes, we're over in like Braintree and like Blue Hills area. She pulls up, has blankets ready, like chilling with us. We called AAA. They were there like an hour, maybe an hour and a half later. Like, I don't know why it took so long for them to get there, but my mom hooked it up. But yes, being stranded outside was not fun at all.
Yeah, and cold too. That sounds fucking horrible.
Yeah.
My being stuck story was also in the cold. There was one big winter storm back when I was a kid, and I lived at this point on a cul-de-sac, and so there was a giant pile of the snow that was all plowed at the end of the street.
Yeah.
So me and my friend Quinn, we had made a giant hole in the ground. We dug deep down into the hole.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, and this is the only thing I could think of when I was stuck. But so it's like 6 feet deep and it's very like narrow, and we dig this hole in this giant snowbank.
What did you stick in this hole?
Myself. I went head first, and legs up, and my neck was positioned to a point where like I was deep down. And
You were ass over tea kettle.
Yes, precisely. And I could not for the life of me, under my own power, get out. So I'm yelling up there, like, yo, I'm getting claustrophobic. I can't breathe. My neck really hurts. All my weight's going down my neck. And Quinn, who's about half the size of me, can't lift me up. He can't do it. He can't get me out. So what he do? He went to go inside, tell my mom what about the situation. My mom's response was, "Stop fucking playing and stop fucking lying. Tell James to come inside the house." Meanwhile, I'm suffocating. I'm dying, hyperventilating. I cannot believe that I'm stuck in a snowbank and this is the end of it. Meanwhile, Quinn is trying to pull me out. Meanwhile, he is kicking more snow into the hole and it's hurting my breathing.
Quicksand. Yeah.
So this is it. Until the hero of the day, which is around the neighborhood, there was a mentally challenged man that would ride his bicycle with an Elmo chicken doll in the passenger side. And he came by with his bike, and he, with one arm, he lifted me by the leg, and saved my life. And
wow!
He asked me, with me still in the air, he goes, "Are you okay?" And clearly I wasn't, but I said thank you, and then cussed out my mom afterwards. So that was my one time where I
wish there was footage of you walking in the house like neck
I was
all-
pissed. I was heated. But shout out to the
that guy.
Alive and
man.
well now.
Yes, the Elmo
Saved
chicken
you.
doll.
What about you,
Saved
Jake?
you.
We've been stuck.
I've been stuck in a fair share of situations, both good and bad, mostly bad. Every time I thought of one more would come up. So I got 4 quick ones that I'll run through.
Let's do it.
In order. Number 4, I was like 10 years old. I tried to stick my head in the car window to like unlock the car so me and my sister could get in while my mom talked. And I got my head stuck. I couldn't get it back out of the window. And so my mom came out and she was like, "What are you doing?" She's bugging. So she had to open the driver's side and I'm like kind of walking with the door like this.
Oh my god.
And then my mom was stressed out more than anyone because she was like, "What if I hit it up and like cut off your head?" I was like, "Just hit it down. Like make sure you hit it down," So that was pretty fun. That was probably 15 minutes. My sister was dying.
Man.
Number 3
That's
was actually, so I had COVID for the month of February.
Yeah.
I was out 6 weeks, just like brutally injured.
jerking off.
Yeah, just jerking off, But finally, I get to see the boys for Chris's birthday at the simulation. I just got a new car week after COVID, and I'm literally milliseconds from freedom. Like first time in 6 weeks, I get to go out, see the MMR boys. Shout out to DJ Crisscross. And I locked my keys in the car. I didn't realize the 03 RAV4 had auto lock, so I was stuck in my driveway at home, just not being able to go. Like I thought I was about to be out of the house, and then I was actually stuck forever. It felt like very The Shining-esque.
Yeah,
that was a
that's
tough
horrible.
one, but we move on. Number 2, a cold one. Went to the Bruins, I think like a little after high school. Me and my friend, we missed the train stop on the way back, and it was a blizzard. And so we're end up in Winchester. And this is before Uber, no taxis were answering.
Winchester.
You couldn't see Winchester because we missed the commuter rail stop. So we hop into a Brookline bank just for warmth. And our buddy Preston, after we called everybody in the phone book, Preston comes through with his truck and saves us like 2 hours later. It's almost like 1 a.m. at this point.
Wow,
And
what a
we're just
guy.
like- yeah, he was a legend. That was tough though because we didn't think of the bank for a while and we're literally freezing. Like
Yeah.
that was a blizzard.
Like the ATM thing.
Oh god.
Yeah. And number 1,
It gets
worst
worse.
time of getting stuck,
Uh-oh.
30 minutes stuck on It's a Small World. It's the stuff of nightmares.
It's a small world.
30 minutes nonstop. The ride's supposed to be 2. So we're just sitting there, just no boats are moving. I'm sitting there with my friends, and it's a small world after
Did you
all.
think the end was near?
I thought that was the end. I thought that I died, and then that was the entrance into hell, stuck forever on the small world.
Purgatory.
It was actually, it was kind of funny because we were laughing about it, but like when I look back, that was easily the worst I've ever been
That's
stuck. Like,
terrifying.
the last time I went on it, I won't go back on it. It was
I don't
just
blame
like,
you, man.
The puppets start glaring at you. There's clowns. You ever been on It's a Small World, bro? It's not a
think so.
kid's ride.
So you could not
Scary as hell.
get up and just get out of there?
No,
in
it's
a
a
thing.
boat ride. You're in a boat.
Oh fuck.
So yeah, it's a small boat ride. If you haven't been, for people listening, it's a small like boat ride, you could get, I guess, stand up and walk in the water, but like, I'm not going to do that in the middle of the ride. So you just stuck and you just have to wait it out. And for 30 minutes, you just hear the song repeat and repeat. And there's a bunch of puppets around you just doing weird things. And it's like from the 50s, so it's really sketchy.
You also don't know what's in that water.
You don't know what's in the
assume-
water.
You're not just gonna jump out.
I would have jumped out.
Oh,
They gave us free passes,
Yeah.
but
Nothing can phase me, bro.
those puppets.
Maybe the puppets.
No, that was
That's
no
awful.
good.
Shames, where you been stuck?
Did I not say where I was stuck?
Yeah,
I think I did, but I fucking forget what I said.
I thought you went first.
I did go first, I'm pretty sure. But I remember I was stuck out in the fucking cold waiting for you one time, and you wouldn't.
Oh God,
I was out there.
that could be any number of times.
Negative 20 degrees outside. I'm freezing my tits off, and fucking this dude. I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm at Quincy Center. Can you come scoop me and Andy? And he's like, yeah, I'll be right there. I'm on my way. 20 minutes later, and
That's my
frostbite.
classic phrase.
He was there.
I'm on my way. If anybody ever asks, like, where you, I'm on my way. It's a beautiful term because you could be on your way to do many things, like, and while you're on your way, you could be anywhere. So
I'm on my way.
you could use that. You know what I'm saying? Credit
Definitely.
me.
But yeah, no. Shout out to y'all for being stuck and making it through.
Love it.
I mean, what a random topic that we just absolutely knocked out of the park, I thought.
Yep.
Demolished like Willie Mo Pena. Speaking of Willie Mo Pena, we'll be back with some more hits right after this.
Listen, kid. Next time you got a nail or a screw stuck in your tire, do yourself a favor. Go on over to Jimmy's Tires and get that sucker patched in no time. For over 40 years, Jimmy's has been fixing tires of all sorts. Motorcycles, RVs, trailers, and even wheelbarrows. So get on over to Jimmy's Tires. They're simply the best. You don't believe me? Listen to what some of their most satisfied customers had to say about them online.
Wade recently stopped by Jimmy's and had to say, Johnny replaced my sensor quickly and for a great price. Definitely recommends. And even Frank said that his family's been using Jimmy's for the past 40 years. And we can't forget about Michael Gregorio. Busy spot. They always make sure you leave with what you came for. And those big chain tire guys can go to hell. It's all about Jimmy's Tire Service in Quincy, Mass, baby.
And welcome back to the Mass Music Morning Show. The main topic today, bad neighbors. I've had so many neighbors in my time. I've moved houses numerous times, unfortunately. Unlike you, which is, I think this topic is interesting because you've lived in the same house, I think, your whole life. if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
25 years I've lived in Quincy Point. Granted, I've traveled. Like, I used to live, in school.
Right.
UMass Amherst. I've been in Amherst. I lived in Sunderland, LA, a few different places in LA. But yeah, I've been at the same location for 25 years, mostly.
Shout out to you and me.
Yeah.
I was also at the same house for 25 years.
You're the OG Quincy guy here, right?
I am
you got
born
the blood.
and raised, like unlike everyone else in this
Royalty
room.
here.
Quincy royalty, right
So
here.
Quincy royalty, you've had no bad neighbors, Seamus?
Well, the thing about me is I live in an apartment building that is owned by my family. So there's about 4 apartments in there, and those shits are always changing out. So there's always new characters in there. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the crib next door. Same exact deal. There's 4 apartments there, so those are always interchanging and shit. So there's been a lot of different people around. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because when I think about bad neighbors, you know what I'm saying? I don't think any of them came from Quincy. At least in my apartments and shit.
Really?
The only time I had a bad neighbor experience was when I was living with Shlomo. And this guy
What?
Shlomo, remember our house in Sunderland?
I was a bad neighbor?
No,
Or that neighbor?
No, you, our neighbors.
Okay.
No,
okay,
I'm
okay.
saying in Sunderland, so
worst
we were
neighbor.
living together, and it wasn't the old man that lived next door because he was an absolute peach.
Yeah.
He's watching this right now. Shout out to you, fucking great old guy, lived by himself, kind of weird, but fucking everyone is.
You talking about that
other
farm?
fuckers with the farm. Not only did they have
Oh,
an
yeah, they
electric
were weird.
fence that zapped my boys to coach.
And the horse. There was 2
Yeah.
horses, and
But-
he's petting the horse. The horse comes close, right? And his nose touched the wire. It wasn't like like he didn't kill the horse, but it definitely jumped
Yeah.
back, and it jolted through his arm. Shit.
Exactly.
yeah, they were
As
weird.
I was saying though,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that to everyone out there. Just imagine I said that with my voice. But so they had the zapped fence, and on top of that, they had a no trespassing sign that was about. No, actually, it wasn't a no trespassing sign. It was a little sign this big that said no dumping, which I always thought was. I'm not gonna take a poop out there,
Nice.
you fucking idiots. So I'm frolicking around. You know what I'm saying? Remember there was that shitty ass farm. It was all abandoned. It was a bunch of buildings and shit. So I'm just frolicking. It's my own backyard. I'm fucking walking around, smoking a spliff, just enjoying nature in Western
Yep, yep.
Massachusetts. And dude comes over, this old fucking fuck, and he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't be trespassing on my property." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you gonna do about it,
chirped
old
you.
man?" He chirped me, and I was like, "You know what? Fine, I'll retreat back to my side." You know what I'm saying? But if you step to me again, bro, I'm gonna fucking break you in half because you're an old man, and I don't give a fuck
It
about
sounds
old
like
men.
there's still some
There is some beef because I
animosity
know why
there.
it's hilarious because
Why?
Mother Nature was on my side. What happens with this bad neighbor situation? Because I walk with God everywhere I go. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a malicious person. I'm a good-hearted individual.
Yep.
So the Lord saw someone fucking did some wrong to me, so he did some wrong to them. Come back from fucking winter break at UMass. This dude's farm, fucking pile of snow, just fucking fell through the ceiling.
Oh, the barn, yeah.
This
He
whole
had, like,
barn,
this huge barn.
bunch of ice
Forgot
on it.
about that.
Yeah, I had a bunch
Caved
of
in.
ice and shit on it, just caved in. With God said, like,
Jameis sounded like he had a.
nice farm, buddy. Like, that's fucking awesome.
Hey, nice
Hey,
barn.
hey, what happened to your roof? I would just sit out there with a cup of Joe and just look at his roof. I would just sit out there like, wow.
You hexed
God
him,
is
bro.
good all the time.
Wow.
So yeah,
That
that
is
was
good.
probably the worst neighbor I had. Shout out to all my beautiful neighbors in Quincy Point, though. I've never had a problem.
Yeah, QP neighbors, I've had nothing but great,
Yeah,
great
I really,
neighbors.
honest to God, I've never had a bad neighbor.
Good local
I will
guys.
say that living in the
girls.
dorms, I had some pretty rough
Horrible
neighbors.
neighbors.
Oh my god.
Not necessarily like the first year, but like, you know, as the time went on, there was
Yeah.
some tough.
When you get
neighbors.
older, people.
Southwest.
Yeah, when people are juniors and seniors, they think that the bee's knees.
Yep.
There's probably some girls out there that think I'm the bad neighbor from my Coolidge days, but they can go to hell. Because
they're fucking wrong.
They're wrong.
But they can go.
They
to
can
hell.
go to hell. You know what I'm saying? They really fucking can. But yes, that's another thing. Do roommates count as neighbors? Because Dr. Creepy, my freshman year, my roommate was
no.
terrifying.
Dr. Creepy. Is that a self-titled nickname?
I
or
gave
that's-
him that
okay,
nickname.
you gave him it.
He was very terrifying. He was very pale. He was very slender, and had long hair. Looked like a
Dr.
Eastern European assassin that was sent to fucking haunt me.
He had an aura about him. I will say. That
He
was
did.
That's a
An
tough
evil
neighbor.
aura. You'd be
Tough
like, "Hey,
roommate.
how's it going, creepster?" And he wouldn't say anything. Motherfucker would just be sitting there. So yeah, he was definitely a horrible person to live with, and just a bad neighbor all around. So even though technically he wasn't a neighbor, he lived with me.
He was in the dwelling.
He was in my dwelling, but he can also go to hell.
Jimmy, you have any good neighbors, bad neighbors?
Oh, yeah, I do. Well, both of them are actually in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Oh, Western Mass.
And actually, no, the second one, I think I'm the bad neighbor. But I'll tell the.
It was me all along.
yeah,
I would have gotten away with it too.
Well, you guys can be the judge. But the first one, when I lived in my grandparents' house, I had my friend Quinn come visit me in Springfield.
Oh God, I know the story.
And yeah, it was bad, dude. We had lived in this house right next to, attached to this Jamaican man's house. And I think the first day he came, me and Quinn were walking to buy some football cards down the street. And he's like walking, leaving outside of his house, and he threw a beer bottle at us. So like off rip, like not
like,
too chill
smash?
vibes. It
Did
almost
you tell
hit-
him you knew Garfield Lionheart?
I maybe that would have helped, but I don't know. He must have been having a bad day. It was a red stripe beer.
Damn.
Tried to bottle you children.
Yeah, but then that's not even the worst part.
Oh my God, it gets worse?
It was the next day actually. It was my 10th birthday.
Big day.
I was
Big
gonna say,
day,
so it was
and-
last day as a 9-year-old, someone
Yeah.
tried to bottle you.
Yeah, well,
James had a tough up. I mean, that's awful.
but so we're
Springfield.
playing some GameCube. I think it was Mario Baseball. It was
Oh,
minding our
awesome.
business. Great game,
Awesome.
right? But I had a dog at the time, an English pit bull named Cyrus. This huge, beautiful, big,
That's
friendly
a beautiful
dog.
name, by the way. Cyrus.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah,
nice.
great dog. Of course, broke into the neighbor's fence across.
Oh,
the,
really?
Yep, to the yard of pit bulls.
bottler?
3 pit bulls.
The
Yes,
bottle
the
pit.
bottler. The bottler owned 3 pit bulls.
Oh God.
So Cyrus breaks into the yard with the 3 pit bulls, who are all
Like, what's up with
attached.
y'all?
Who are all attached to their doghouse. So
Oh, they're like chained up.
they're chained up. These are vicious, like mean, loud, growling pit bulls.
So they must have been bugging out.
Like junkyard dogs.
Junkyard dogs. to the highest degree. And Cyrus, friendly dog, you know, we're kind of hoping like, oh, he's not gonna fight them, but it quickly became a bloodbath where Cyrus is fighting all 3 dogs, going to one because again they're all kind of chained up, so they can't they can't use gang warfare. But still, it's just like one dog for 3 dogs. And there's nothing. So we're watching vicious dog fighting on my 10th birthday. No one's home for the neighbors.
That's awful.
And yeah, it was one of the most devastating moments of my childhood, watching my dog almost die from fighting 3 other vicious pit bulls. Again, you gotta work that fence better, man. That's ridiculous.
Part of it, I mean, I don't mean to be mean.
I was just
Part
saying,
of it's
Cyrus
on your
should have been
dog.
over there.
And Cyrus
Why
should
do you
not
have
went.
3 pit bulls chained up in the first place?
Because they don't want them
Because they're
They don't
probably
want 'em
mad
running
vicious.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine one
should-
went free through your
I will
fence.
say, Cyrus kind of
Like
went
the Sandlot.
over to the neighbor's crib and just started piecing up all the other dogs. That's what it sounds like. Did Cyrus
Walked
win
into
the
the
fight?
wrong part of
Did
town.
Cyrus
Started-
win the fight?
I think for the most part, yes.
See that? So kind of, it's
Hmm.
if it wasn't for this bottling, I think we'd be questioning who's.
But like, so basically,
bad
Quinn's.
Now I see what you said about who's the bad neighbor, because like your dog.
Well, no, that's my second
broke
story.
in.
That's and no, and I'm not the bad neighbor. Again, this is.
Oh, this story isn't
Imagine-
you being the bad neighbor?
No.
The dog
Okay.
snuck in and attacked all
So
3 of his
I have my
It's your
friend
dog
visit.
being the
I
bad
have my
neighbor.
friend from Quincy visit, and he gets a bottle of beer thrown at his head, and then has to watch an absolute violent dog.
But it is his
assault.
birthday too, and it's pretty
Yeah,
horrible. We
so
gotta
like,
think about
so I
this.
blame it. I blame it on
Yeah.
the neighbor. Unfortunately, so those are my Springfield stories. The Springfield Chronicles.
It sounds like a reckless time out there.
Yeah.
I'm
a reckless
steering
place.
clear from Springfield, that's for sure.
Oh hell yeah, Jake! Any great neighbors? Bad
I've
neighbors?
had some really good neighbors. Yeah, I mean, growing up in the same house in Medford for like 21, 22 years. All the neighbors were pretty tight. We used to we have like home videos from like the late 90s, early 2000s of Torah block parties.
Oh, hell
where
yeah.
we'd block it off and then everybody would party, and that's a block party. And so that was really cool. And then at UMass, like, yeah, you have some weird people in the dorms, but overall, I feel like I've had pretty solid neighbors aside from one.
Uh-oh.
He wasn't awful. And I won't say who he is in case he's listening, but I doubt he is. It's just an old neighbor, and like as a kid, he was okay. Like he was kind of like, oh, that's our neighbor. Like, hey, we'd always say hi to him. As we got older, he just got a little bit creepier. And like he would bring his dog over to my house and like let the dogs play, and that was okay. But then one time, it happened numerous times. One time I was just chilling like with the 2 dogs in the yard talking to him.
Yeah.
And he just walks over in the corner of my yard and just starts taking a piss. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I just got to go. I'm like, we have a bathroom in the house. You have a bathroom across the fence. Like,
in your house. Yeah.
why are you peeing in my yard? And he would do it all the time. And then like he would just get like creepy and just do weird things. And then overall, it really ended up me not liking this guy. His
Yeah,
wife is
come on.
awesome and his family's okay.
Oh, he's like a grown ass dude.
Yeah, this is like our guy. He raised
Oh,
his kids
wow.
next to us, but they're old. I think they're 10
I
years
thought
older
this was
than
like
me.
a young,
Kind of a
kid.
territorial
I was
pissing.
gonna say,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's like a dog, like marking his territory.
But
type
it's just
thing.
like, guy, get out of here.
You don't take pisses in your backyard.
I take pisses in my backyard. And I take pisses in other people's backyard when I'm, drunk.
If
It's
you ask,
nighttime.
yeah.
Yeah, if you ask me, I will. But like,
No, I
wouldn't-
get the sentiment.
I bring my dog to your house. I bring my dog over to your house. We're just chilling, and then like,
Excuse me.
yeah, just
I
while
wouldn't
we're
just do
talking,
it.
I don't even ask. I just walk
Your
over
During the
and start
day?
going. But like, it would be, I guess, more okay if me or you did that. Like, it's just the boys. Like,
Right.
you're not a 55-year-old man, and I'm not a 17-year-old boy. Like, that's not. It was just on.
I'd be
But then he
salty.
would do it like with my dad would be in the yard, and he would just do it too. And my dad would be like, "Can you fucking not?"
Your
guy?"
immediate response should have been to moseying over to his yard and
And
taking a dump,
one up him.
and just taking a straight
I would have
dump,
thrown
like
up all
poop-
over his
like
front
poop
steps.
all over his
the
yard.
driveway.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, so like, oh,
Missed
I gotta go to the
opportunity.
bathroom.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, but even overall, he wasn't like a bad neighbor. He just did some weird
Just
things,
that.
I'd say.
Yeah,
I-
that's very
I-
questionable.
I don't think like I've had any noise. I've never had like an noisy upstairs neighbor or
Yeah.
anything like that. Honestly, if anything, freshman year I was probably the bad neighbor.
Yeah,
because
I
me,
definitely was,
me
too.
and my roommate and the 2 girls next to us, we all wanted Southwest, but we got Northeast. But the other people on the floor all wanted Northeast, so they're kind of like the
For
North.
those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
different
UMass.
vibe.
It's very. It's
Southwest is litty titty. Reserved is for pussies.
Like we got written up. Me and my roommate got written up 3 times in the first week, just
God.
and nobody else on the floor like would associate with us. Like they just kinda,
Blackballed.
They wouldn't invite. It was shaped like an L. I don't know if you remember Dwight from orientation. It was shaped like an L. We were on the little part. The long hallway was super close with each other. We'd see them in the calf, like hanging out,
someone at camp
partying,
freshman year with us, slow-mo.
and nobody would hang out with us because we were just the bat. We were always getting drunk, yelling Tuesday night, and people were trying to study, and we're just like, let's get fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's UMass, man. Come on, it's freshman
Yeah,
year.
dude.
I don't regret it, but like, yeah, I was definitely the bad neighbor freshman year. 100%.
Hell yeah. I've had some great neighbors. Who shout out to Big John, the
yeah,
the
Big
whole
John's not
McGrath
even-
family, I will
Yeah,
say.
I'm not even neighbor with
McKinney
McGraths,
family.
and I love his neighbors.
Oh yeah, and then we got Martin. Shout out to Martin Miller, the whole Miller family.
Millers, yeah.
Man, the Brosnans next door. I've had like growing up, I had such a great neighborhood, man. Like
Yeah,
Norma
I
across
consider
the
the same.
street, the Domingos.
I like to hear that we've all had positive.
Yeah, I
Pretty
mean, I really
positive
can't
experiences.
complain. I have had a lot of different rotating neighbors. Save On was probably the only time a kid lived in like the apartments where I lived. A kid my age, so that was pretty cool. You know, he's probably the best neighbor I ever had. We were like fucking brothers.
I just remembered another terrible Springfield neighbor.
Oh god, no.
Yeah, you're right. Excuse me. I'm just glad that the 3 of us have had some positive neighbor experiences.
Yeah.
So-
I hope it's not the same. I hope you are playing house, please.
No, we're playing something else.
Oh
but
no.
No, what we were playing was I got basically robbed of my bicycle. But anyway, it was this kid named Gary moved over to the street. Gary was from North Carolina, had a mullet.
Oh,
Should have known, Gary.
bad
he's
look
gonna
for
hit a
the
lick
mullet.
on you immediately, bro.
Well, no, because the thing is, I kind of trusted him a little bit because Springfield, I was really the only white kid in the neighborhood. So to see another white kid, I was kind of like, all right, like, he's kind of cool. Plus, he's a little bit older too, so I'm like, this guy's kind of cool. Like, I trust him, whatever. Mullet, like, wow.
And start
Yeah, so like,
clan chapter. or
mullet,
something.
wow.
I'm like, I couldn't believe it. But then one day, Gary said, hey, James, like, let me ride your bike down the street real quick. And I trusted Gary. And so I'm like, Gary, go ahead. Gary took my bike, and I'm standing there waiting for him to return. He did not return.
Like a sucker. He's standing
You
there.
didn't know where Gary lived, where he was staying.
Well,
at?
I didn't really know where he went. I'm chilling down.
But
the
you know
street.
where he stays at, right?
Yeah, I know where he stays at, but I didn't know where he went.
Go take a poop
I
out
didn't
the
know where he
driveway.
went just now.
You should have fucking been like, yo, Gary, I know where you stay at.
Well, the thing is about it, I was like, damn. So then I'm walking, like, kind of looking for Gary and my bicycle, and I told another kid what had happened. He goes, oh, your bike's gone, dude. I'm like, what are
Sorry,
you
kid,
talking
your
about?
bike's
So like, I
gone.
start like going around to like everyone's house, like asking, like, yo, have you seen Gary? Have you seen Gary? Have you seen Gary? And
The town crier over here.
yeah, so, but then,
Everyone knows Gary.
Everybody's like,
fucking-
who's Gary?
so now,
Never existed.
I've obviously realized that Gary's not coming back with my bike.
You went back to NC.
But maybe, like, I don't really know what to expect. But to come to find out from a kid that say, hey, like, he's gonna chop shop your bike, which means if you didn't know, he's gonna chop up my bike
Sell it for
and
parts.
sell the parts. So I was like, I immediately went to panic mode. So then I hear that he was at this kid Trey's house.
Uh-oh.
So I run over to Trey's house, and as I'm pulling up to Trey's house, again, I'm like a little kid, like tears in my eyes, like I just want my bike. I see a police cruiser, going down the street, and I just go, fucking stop! I stop the cop. I tell him, hey, these kids stole my bike. Can you go get it?
James gets in the passenger seat.
So yeah, basically the cop then like pulls up to Trey's house. He goes in the back. They find the kids doing the act, and the kids get really rebellious. They swung at the cop. So then Gary and Trey get in trouble. Get thrown in the back of a police car. More police cars come, and then Trey's mom found out about it. Was not happy about her like 15-year-old son like being escorted away by police. She then gets physical with the cop. She gets arrested. So then, like, more cruisers come.
Domino
It's a
effect.
whole big ordeal over this red bicycle, right? And I can't believe it. My bike at this point was chopped up. They did the dirty. It was too late. But I was so sad. So then the cop starts driving me home.
Crying out the window.
I'm like, I couldn't believe it. So I'm in the back of the cop car, and I'm like, I'm being taken away.
And then Springfield arrested.
But I couldn't script this better because so I'm going down the street and there's another car coming, and in that car is my grandfather who sees me in the back of the police car with no context of what happened. So all he sees is like a million police cars and me being taken away in the back seat. And he jumps out the car and goes, "Officer, there must be a mistake!" Like, just freaking out. And yeah, so then that was.
I just picture you right now, just miniature, just like
Yeah.
kind of in your own little bubble while that's all going
Yes.
on.
Oh, yeah, I was-
Entirely, you're at the root of it.
Yeah.
That's chaos.
That's awesome.
It was Gary was the worst neighbor, man, and it's crazy because like we really bonded over like John Cena's new album and stuff, and like I really trusted him. And
Yeah, that's how you should have known.
That's how
That's how you
trust
should have
gets
known.
ruined, dude.
The second he saw that mullet, you should have known.
Should have
man.
known.
I will never
You
trust.
guys don't trust a mullet?
No.
Is this not a safe space for a mullet?
I actually have to say I don't trust anyone named Gary ever since then. Ever
That's
since
that-
then, I'll
that's
actually
fair.
tell anyone like I don't trust him because his name's Gary. How many Garys are trustworthy?
I
Have
don't
you
know a
met?
single Gary that's my age. I know.
Yeah, I don't either. Wow.
I
Gary
know.
the snail. That's the only Gary that I know.
Well, if you can avoid moving next to a Gary, ladies and gentlemen, do so. If you have any bad neighbor comments, leave them below on YouTube. And if you're listening on the radio, thank you so much. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Mass Music Morning
Thank you.
Show.